Supposedly on the night that Sebastian disappeared, there was only two Wi-Fi's that came in that area and left that area.
The response of these stupid motherfuckers don't even know it was my truck.
Hey y'all, we have more bombshell information that broke last night related to the Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers case. You're going to want to stick around for this information. From the East Coast to the West Coast, we are everywhere true crime is. We are asking for the public's help. We are searching in the woods. We are doing what it takes here on the Bullhorn Betty channels to find answers to the most alarming cases we have been watching on the news. I can tell you personally that I have traveled this entire country seeking these answers and bringing that content right here to you here on the Bullhorn Betty channels and Bullhorn Betty Crime Stories. We are happy with the work that we've done. We brought many answers to the public, and we have defied mainstream media in our pursuit of the truth in these cases. We will continue to work, we will continue to fight for these victims, and we will continue to tell their stories here on my channels. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty brand of channels and the Coffee Club. Thank you for your love, thank you for your support, and more importantly, thank you for allowing me to bring these victims' stories to each and every one of you, advocating for each of these victims. God bless you, God bless America, and more importantly, God bless our victims. Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers is a 15-year-old autistic boy that disappeared from Hendersonville, Tennessee, from inside his locked home where he was allegedly only with his mother. We have not heard from the mother or stepfather in quite some time. And then last night, he comes on a show. And what was revealed were some hot button topics, such as this.
He's saying supposedly on the night that Sebastian disappeared, they go through and they check like all the Wi-Fi in the area, and there was only two Wi-Fi's that came in that area and left that area. Like two open networks, two traveling Wi-Fi's came in and left.
And if he said my Wi-Fi, my truck, whatever to you or whoever, I don't know, but I would imagine it would be when he was arriving from the work site, right? I mean, that's what I would think. I thought you guys were talking about during the missing time frame, like let's say 10 p.m. to 6 a.m.
That's what I thought too.
That changes everything.
No,
that was probably just him coming home.
Yeah, that's why I made the point to say there is no time. Right, like I don't know. If that was
the time frame, then the police would definitely have more suspicion, you would think, right?
Yeah, because we got a problem living here if they didn't act on that. You know what I mean?
Fair is fair, right? If we're going to bring something, you got to put it all out there. You can't just put half of it. Fair is fair. It was the 25th, 26th, under my understanding. So it could have been the entire day, right? That's just what it is. But it still makes it odd, right? It also tells me, and not odd, I'll take that back. It adds a little bit to it. But it also tells me that law enforcement checked that area for any signal, which means that Sebastian could not have communicated with anybody, even from another device, because it would have shown up on what the car team was doing.
No, because you said that they looked for they looked for Wi-Fi, like they looked for hotspots. A burner wouldn't be a hotspot. That would be a geofencing thing, and they would have found it though.
That's
like this cell phone doesn't belong here.
Yeah.
But if it has history of being there, like if he had a burner in his room, maybe he turned it on like every other day, then it might not red flag. It really depends.
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah, it really depends.
My point wasn't so much his internet. It was the response of these stupid motherfuckers don't even know it was my truck.
Well, and not only that, but, I mean, truth be told, he does have an alibi, right? Like,
yeah, right.
So
does he?
Yeah.
These have been the most staunch supporters of the mom and stepdad of Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers, and they seem like they have some serious questions about new revelations that were disclosed to them by the stepfather, Chris Proudfoot. Now, we're going to be going into when Chris Proudfoot approached the panel, and it became explosive. Check this out.
So then in saying that, when I spoke about your truck, do you think I was insinuating that you had something to do with Sebastian's disappearance?
No,
I
it's
mean,
not what I
I-
said.
I-
Ruth. That's not what I said.
I
That's
know.
not what I
So my
said.
point is, it was said that your truck was there. I explained that they did because you told me that they did the geofencing thing for the 25th and 26th. Okay? Am I right?
I didn't tell you exactly what dates. I told you when they did it. However,
Okay.
what I'm
Either way.
telling you is don't insinuate my truck or me on the 25th or the morning of the 26th.
If law enforcement already has this information, why does it matter what people's opinions are? It seems like it's another way for CP to control the information and people's assessment of the information off of social media. That's not his job.
I didn't. So why are you still
Because-
stuck on that?
I mean, Drew, to be fair, like I'm really trying to focus on the chat because I know we have trolls. And there are people saying that you kind of were insinuating. And I mean, I'm not going to lie. I kind of felt that too.
And
I
that's
think
why I was confused. I was like,
Right.
what?
I
I
think
really
that's why
was.
me and Body were both like, what the fuck is he talking about? Like, I
Go
mean,
back. Go back
you
and say
do
what I
have a
said.
way. Hold on. You do have a way of saying things like this mysterious fucking chocolate in a like fucking Valentine box. Like, what the fuck am I gonna get? I don't know until I bite. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to be
Right,
rude,
Forrest
but
Gump.
I mean, you do insinuate when you speak.
Maybe it has something to do with him being forced to peddle information that he questions. I don't know.
I mean, I guess what's okay is that we can grill Seth to the end, but we can't grill Chris. And we can't grill Katie.
No, I
Because
don't
if
think
we do
anybody's
that-
saying that.
No,
No, hold on,
No.
hold on. I'm gonna stand. I have the right to say my own opinion. I'm not saying y'all agree with me, right? But it's interesting to me that Seth has been accused of horrible things with Katie. Seth has been accused of being
Seth put
abusive.
that
Hold
out.
on, can I finish, please? Just 1 second. Seth has been accused of being physically abusive to Sebastian. Chris has been accused of these things. But what we're arguing is a truck being in the area. That's what made you jump up here.
I don't know about you, but it seems like ET has some concerns. And he is a little hostile back as to why he's being accused of all these things when he stood by the stepfather's side through all of this and had many private conversations. It doesn't sound like he's keeping those private conversations private.
Not all the other accusations, but
So
the
once
way
again,
that
yeah.
the
So
truck.
we'll address that real quick. It's real simple. What goes on in our family is not the public's business. We're not going to sit here, and I'm not going to sit here and tell you what in the world goes on or what happened in the past or any of that nature. That is not the public's business. I'm not going to sit up here and do what Seth did. That's not happening.
So wait.
I don't care if it offends or hurts somebody's feelings, that God forbid the parent between Seth and I'm not going to sit here and bash Seth. I'm not going to sit here and put out personal information. That's nobody's business. How many people out there in all of these things have all said the same thing, that it should have never happened? And it's correct. It shouldn't have.
I agree.
It doesn't do anything.
Well, and comparing what Seth goes through, there's a shit ton more people that are accusing Chris and Katie. Look at them in your chat. Fucking
Yeah.
Listen, I'm not.
been in
Listen,
here
hold on.
before.
It's
Hold on.
wild in
I don't-
there. Like,
It
I mean,
is.
your
And then
chat-
they're saying, oh, Seth doesn't care if people talk about him. Tell me he fucking doesn't when I'm paying a lawyer for an injunction.
yeah, that's
When
a
he said
lie.
that
I just keep wondering, what did she expect to happen when you call somebody some of the horriblest names, go real life, try to reach out to their employers, tries to reach out to their boss, act like you have a right to know information you do not, and stand on this very platform and say other people don't have the right to know information, but somehow going real life doesn't deserve an injunction. peddling false and misleading information doesn't deserve an injunction in an open and active criminal investigation. This lady has lost her ever-loving mind and keeps trying to make it about her.
On top of it,
A bold-faced lie. He cares.
well, I will say this, Truth, you and I, we've had our conversations, and we respect each other enough to understand we don't
sure.
always agree, and we don't always
Absolutely.
disagree.
For sure.
But when your chat and my phone blows up with the perception of what you were, I'm not saying you're directly insinuating it, but even the fact of the way it came out was enough that my phone blew up.
Listen, here's the thing.
And that's a serious issue, man.
The serious issue is that Sebastian's missing. That's the serious issue. Your phone blowing up doesn't
that's
mean
the
a
top
damn.
priority. That's not
Honestly, I'm not trying to be
that's the top
disrespectful, but for people to be hitting your phone up, that tells me there's a lot of people on YouTube that have your fucking phone number.
No, just a lot of people have Facebook Messenger.
Well, maybe that, but my point is, I'm not responsible for the chat. Okay, I haven't even been paying attention to the chat because they've been saying just as much nasty shit about me in my chat. Okay, I'm talking to you. I've been talking to you through my message, or through my lives. I've been talking to Katie through my lives. I've done it behind the scenes and personal. There is absolutely nothing, and Chris, you've got to be able to agree with me on this. There's nothing that I've said up here on this panel that you and I haven't talked about before.
I'm not disagreeing with you on that.
So it does appear that E.T. has questioned Chris behind the scenes many times, and they have had these discussions, and Chris has known about these discussions, and still seems to be, or allegedly appears to be, some type of taken back by the conversation that they're having up on chat. If he questioned it to Chris and Chris did not explain it well enough to him, of course he's still going to be uneasy about it. Again, I don't know these people and I'm not putting words in their mouth. I'm just analyzing what I think is going on.
So I'm not up here. Listen, I'm not up here to smear you or smear Katie or smear Seth. Okay, that's not my goal.
Smear. Listen, it's not a smear. It's the fact of an insinuation or the way that people perceive it. And what do? They're going to turn around and they're going to blow up the phone lines, the tip lines, and push this narrative that is so false.
These statements really upset me because have you noticed? He's more concerned about how he looks in the public's eyes. He's more concerned about the narrative driven or not driven than he is about Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers being missing or how this is helping bring Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers home. He actually believes by not looking in the home, we're going to be able to bring Sebastian home. That's not the truth. Something happened inside that home that brought this situation on, and that's why we keep going back to it. This is a little strange for me, and for him to demand that this be stopped because he's scared, it seems to me he's more scared of the leads that are going to go in from this information than he is about Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers coming home.
That's what they're going to do.
But hasn't that been the same thing, the little bit of information that you and Katie have put out to creators done to Seth?
Actually, no, we don't put out false information about Seth.
I didn't say false, just information in general.
I mean, to be fair, if it's information that should be known about Seth, isn't that worth it?
Why doesn't that work
the same?
Why doesn't that work the same way for Chris and Katie, though?
Well, if it's actual factual information, sure, put it out and call law enforcement. Go for it.
I mean, listen, you know just as well as I know.
This ain't about tit for tat of what he did in the past, what she's done in the past, what I've done in the past. Who cares? This ain't about our characters. This is about finding Sebastian.
I have a few statements to make on that. If this was truly about finding Sebastian, why was the mom and stepdad never involved in any public search? Why was the mom and stepdad seen eating out when one of the biggest public searches happened after telling them they had to stay home, that they couldn't go out and help? Why were the parents going to a motorcycle shop during a vigil? Why did the parents go to Myrtle Beach to a motorcycle rally? Why does it appear that these parents are doing everything other than searching for their own son, being critical of the people that are searching for them, and when people complain, they say they're bashing?
But I think,
And if we go
unfortunately, it
tit
has a
for
lot.
tat about, well, Seth did this, Katie said that, I did this, and blah, blah, blah. Once again, it doesn't find Sebastian.
But who put that information out there for everybody to know? If it doesn't matter, why was it ever put out there in the first place?
Well, how many times have you asked us about something about Seth and we've never told you?
Rarely.
Same concept.
Rarely.
Nope.
I mean,
Same
honestly,
concept.
listen, here's the thing. It's not about me wanting you to be bashed, Katie to be bashed, or Seth. I don't want any of the parents to be bashed. But I also,
Then quit
at
with the crap.
no, don't tell me what to do with my channel, because I'm not doing any crap. I'm simply bringing up conversation, Chris. The same conversations that I've had with you personally. I'm not talking about anything that I haven't talked to you and Katie about. So to assume that I'm coming on here and making shit up or pushing a narrative is bullshit, because I'm not. And you just said yourself, everything I've said, I've spoke to you about already. So to insinuate that I'm putting out some type of narrative that is you don't know about or you don't whatever, that's not the case. My questions have come up based on the conversations that we've had, right? And at the end of the day, I will stand on this again. And I won't go into it any further out of respect. I have been very careful about speaking on Sebastian at all and why there were decisions being made, because I think it is extremely important to protect a child.
How do we know that the information that was scantly provided about the situation between Sebastian and his home and why they wanted him out of the home, that has always been unclear? But there's always been this unknown reason of Chris and Katie that even Seth doesn't appear to even know about, other than just trying to get his son to his home as quickly as possible and away from the mom and stepdad.
Right? I also think that if the general public knew some of the things, they would understand why you and Katie and Seth were making the decisions you were making or attempting to make. Would you agree?
I'm not going to sit here and go over that.
I respect that.
What I will agree with is simply this. Having a conversation is one thing. Having questions is one thing. But when your chat, which, I mean, no, you're not responsible for everybody. That's completely understandable. But as one creator has even stated, sometimes the way you say something almost seems like you push something in a different direction.
I just think it's frustrating to certain people that I won't push their direction.
I don't have a direction other
I
than
didn't say
finding
you.
Sebastian and bringing him home.
I didn't say you, Chris.
That's what I have a problem with, is why is everybody so worried about the bullshit? And that's literally what it is, bullshit. Instead of actual finding Sebastian.
Well, to be fair, Chris, without all the information, it's kind of hard, right?
Right, but there's no new information. I wish there was. There's nothing.
I absolutely believe there's new information. The truck information is huge. The exact reason why this man went on the channel was to silence critics related to his truck being in the area when potentially Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers disappeared. And then it went from that to things being shoveled behind the scenes amongst their group to bash Seth. So there's been a lot that has come out related to this particular interview that I don't think really presented itself well for the mom and the stepfather. I also think we need to be hyper vigilant on bringing Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers home, but when we can't even go back to ground zero and start from scratch, it causes problem and hinders any help that can be provided to the family, either on both sides of the family. I think that this was groundbreaking information. I think the idea that there is a possibility of Chris Proudfoot's truck being in the area at the time that Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers disappeared is critical, and it is huge. Over the last week, we've had some distractions, intentional distractions of misinformation and disinformation coming from an unscrupulous PI then mommy dearest of the stepfather. And now it seems he's very nervous and hyper vigilant about trying to extinguish any information related to his truck or those tips being called into the tip line. To me, this is critical information. I think the stuff that become hot buttons for the stepfather are clues, potential clues, because people that have nothing to hide really don't care what people interpret certain information, especially if law enforcement believes it to be the opposite. So let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the Bullhorn Betty channels here on YouTube as well as TikTok. And don't forget to leave me a comment below telling me what your thoughts are on these new revelations related to the truck, related to stuff being shoveled behind the scenes to drive narratives, and the latest situation of telling his own team to stop talking.